Hi friends, I am now here via my phone. You should see my setup right now. It is sitting on top of a candle trying to prop up, but I'm hoping this might work. If you are seeing this right now, even if you're just scrolling by, would you just do me a favor and let me know if you can see me and hear me okay? I have absolutely no idea what's going on. I just know that we're having some technical difficulties. So just clicking over here to make sure I can be seen, and then I promise we're actually going to get into the content. Awesome. Stacy's giving me some thumbs up. Stacy, thank you. Okay, let's dive in. Let's talk about the 6 things that your website needs to rank on Google. We're in a crazy time right now, but we're going to focus on this content. We're going to dive in. The first thing that your website needs in order to rank on Google is individual specialty pages. Individual specialty pages. Now, what is a specialty page? A specialty page is a page dedicated to a single service or population that you serve in your practice. For you, this might be therapy for anxiety and couples therapy. Maybe you break it up into men, women, and couples. Whatever it is, this can be different problems that you help solve, different populations that you serve, but you need to think about your practice in a couple of different buckets. The reason for this, and I've looked at hundreds of private practitioner websites, and this is actually usually one of the biggest issues that I see, and one of the first pieces of feedback I give to my clients is that they're listing all of their specialties on just a single page of a website. So maybe up there in the menu, it's, home, about, services, and I click into services, and it's just this long bulleted list of all of the things that this practitioner does, when instead there needs to be individual pages for those. Now, why? Why does this actually matter? What's this do to Google? One thing that's really, really important to understand about Google is that Google does not rank websites. Google ranks pages. Google ranks pages. And so the really, really smart algorithm that ultimately decides whether or not your website is going to be shown in Google results is actually looking at an individual page of your website and saying, what is this page about? And can I rank when someone searches for this? So for instance, let's talk about if one of your specialties is therapy for anxiety. If someone goes searching for therapy for anxiety in Nashville, and you have therapy for anxiety mixed in with all of your other specialties and the modalities you use and the methods that you use onto a single page, Google doesn't look at that page and understand that you are the expert in therapy for anxiety. And Google, of course, wants to serve its users the most useful pages. If instead you have a page dedicated therapy for anxiety, where you're talking about that, you're talking about the problems that person is experiencing, how your therapy can help, what they need to do next in order to work with you, all of a sudden Google says, oh, okay, you have an entire page dedicated to this. This is what I'm going to show people. So when someone goes looking for something that you do, we actually want them to go ahead and find you as the anxiety therapist, as opposed to just you, the therapist, because you're going to be a lot less likely to show up in results when that happens. So an individual specialty page for each of the different services or populations that you serve in your practice are absolutely critical for SEO, absolutely critical. It's usually the first thing that I recommend my clients do every single time we work together. It's the first place that we start, because you need to think about your practice in this way. It's the way that you're going to prove expertise to your clients, and it's also the way you're going to prove expertise to Google. And Google wants to show experts in its results. So if you can show that by creating individual pages, you will be ahead of the curve when it comes to SEO for your practice. So that very first thing that you need to have, that your website needs to have in order to rank on Google, are individual specialty pages. If you're looking at your website right now and you navigate around and you have a services page and it's just this long bulleted list, you're missing the mark here, and you're missing the potential to rank on Google. So instead, use some of the downtime, some of the breaks in your schedule right now due to kind of the season of life that we're all living in, and craft some individual specialty pages for each of the things that you do. That will show Google that you are relevant. It will make sure that you have content that is speaking directly to that person, and you'll be way more likely to show up in results for that specialty. Next, number 2 on the list of the 6 things your website needs to rank on Google are keywords. Now, keywords are just that, words that are key to you being found on Google. Keywords are very simply what you want people to type into Google and find you for. This might be therapy for anxiety in Nashville. That's probably a pretty decent keyword. The thing to realize here is that not all keywords are created equal. You trying to rank for the word therapy is actually probably going to be really, really hard because we say the competition for that keyword is really high. Think of all of the websites in the world that talk about therapy. There are hundreds, and you will have a really hard time appearing in the top for it. So think to yourself, what do I want people to type into Google and find me for? And then do some research to figure out if that's actually a worthy keyword for you. For instance, my favorite free tool to check this out is ubersuggest.com, UBER suggest.com. Go ahead and type in the idea you have for a keyword into that the bar that appears right there, and it will tell you the volume, so how many people are actually searching for this, because we want you to rank for something people are actually looking for, right? And then the search difficulty. How hard is it going to be to show up in results for this? If the search difficulty is high, you're probably going to have a really hard time ranking for that, and it's probably going to take a really long time. So instead, choose a variation of that keyword. Maybe add another word that gets a little bit more focused on that keyword in order to decide what works for you. But the reason that keywords matter is because Google is looking for this concept to be reinforced on your page. Let's go back to the therapy for anxiety specialty page. If you're talking about therapy for anxiety, if you're using those words in the page multiple times, again, you're reinforcing to Google that's what this page is about. You're helping that algorithm learn what it is that you're talking about and why you're relevant to it and what it is that you know and how you can help people with it. So think about your keywords when it comes to on a page-by-page basis. Every single page of your website should be targeted at one keyword, and they shouldn't overlap. That's another reason specialty pages are so important. It means that you can have one keyword for your specialty page for anxiety and one keyword for your specialty page for couples therapy. Those are going to be distinct keywords that you can start weaving into your content. Another thing to think about is that your keywords don't just matter when it comes to the words that are viewed on the page, but they can actually be included in some other really cool spots. Things like your image alt tags. Your alt tags are these things that are behind the scenes of your website, associated with any images that are embedded on that page. So if you do play therapy and there's a picture of you in your play therapy space, like holding a toy or something like that, you could assign an alt tag to that picture that says play therapist in Nashville and your name or something like that. And all of a sudden, again, you're adding context to what Google is reading on your website. If you don't know how to update the alt tags of your website, no problem. Just type into Google the name of your website platform, Squarespace, WordPress, whatever it is that you host on, alt tag, and you'll get step-by-step directions on how to do that. This is a really, really, really easy way and something very few private practitioners are doing. And right now, we're just trying to make sure that you're doing a little bit more than everyone else, because that is what is going to help you keep climbing the ranks on Google. Another really cool place you can include keywords, and you should include keywords, is in the slug of your URL. What does slug of your URL even mean? If you think about my website is walkerstrategyco.com, and remember, Google ranks pages, not websites. So if I wanted to have a page dedicated to modern marketing for therapists, I could, if that was the keyword that I wanted to rank for, I could make the URL slug of my page modern marketing for therapists. So it would be walkerstrategyco.com/modern-marketing -for-therapist, right? So if you're doing therapy for anxiety, if you're doing play therapy for kindergartners, make that the slug of your URL. Again, every single website platform allows you to update this, and it's another thing that very few practitioners are doing. So think about adding your keyword into that space as well. Next up, number 3 of the 6 things your website needs to rank on Google are meta descriptions and title tags. That might sound like Chinese to you, and that is okay. Again, it's one of those more technical things, because this is one of the behind the scenes things that Google looks at, and it lives in the code of your website. But every single website platform, just like I was saying for alt tags and slugs, allows you to update these. What is a title tag and a meta description? When you're scrolling Google, say you search therapist in Nashville, you're going to find a big long list of things. The blue large title is what's called the title tag. That's what you click on in order to get into that page. The short description, the 2 to 3 line description below that, is your meta description. Again, this is a really great place to include your keywords, but what's really important here is that you're giving some context to that person. You probably have looked for something on Google, maybe you're looking for Thai food or takeout, and decided not to click on a website because the title tag didn't make any sense, or maybe the meta description was just their address or links like about and contact that didn't actually tell you anything about it. If instead you had a really strong title tag that says something like therapy for children in Nashville, and then the name of your practice, and then a meta description that says, I help children of all ages overcome anxiety, do better in school, and get along better with their peers using play therapy and talk therapy. Schedule a free consultation today. Would you click into that? You probably would, right? This is an opportunity to make a really good first impression on Google. And so that's why it's really, really important, because if you're going to rank on Google, your title tag and your meta description are what's going to show. And that's what's going to determine if someone decides to click in or not. So head over into your website platform. If you don't know where to find these fields, just throw it into Google, a meta description Squarespace, or title tag Wix, whatever it is that you're hosting on, and get step-by-step directions on how to update these. My suggestion for title tags is that it be the main keyword for that page and then the name of your practice. And then the meta description, give a little bit of context and then tell people what to do next. Schedule a free consultation or reach out today, send me a text, whatever that is. So that is the third thing that you need, that your website needs in order to rank on Google. Now, number 4, the fourth thing that your website needs actually doesn't exist on your website: backlinks. What are backlinks? They are quite literally links back to your website from other locations on the World Wide Web. If you think about the way that, again, this algorithm is looking at your website, it's looking at over 200 ranking factors of your website, some things you don't even know. And one of the things it's looking for are votes of confidence. And those votes of confidence come by other people on the internet talking about you. It means that if your website is listed on Facebook, or if your website is listed on a blog that you did a guest blog for, or if it's listed on Yellow Pages or Yelp, all of a sudden every single one of those links back to you is like a vote of credibility. It makes you look more legit in the eyes of Google, and Google only wants to show good results. And so if they can feel more confident that you are who you say you are, that you're legitimate, that your website is legitimate, then all of a sudden you will get some upticks from Google simply because people are talking about you. Now, part of this is out of your control. You don't have control over how every single website talks about you and whether or not they're linking to you, but you can get a little bit creative here, especially if you're a brick and mortar local private practice. Think about your local chamber of commerce. Ask if you can get listed there. Maybe your alumni, your grad school, or even your undergrad has some sort of directory of what graduates are doing now. Think about Yellow Pages. Think about Yelp. Think about Bing. Make sure you're on Google My Business. All things like that. Those things are going to be really, really important and impactful in giving those votes of confidence that Google is looking for when it comes to backlinks. Another thing is to be very, very open to opportunities to get in front of your client through other people. This is why a referral network is so, so important. Do things like guest blogging. If you're invited to speak somewhere, make sure that you're referenced on that website and that there's a link back to you. If you're ever asked to be on a podcast, definitely, if you're comfortable doing that, make that a priority, so that not only are you getting your name out in front of people, but people are going to be sent back to your website through that link, and you'll be showing Google yet again that you have another vote of credibility about how great you are and what it is that you do. So backlinks are really, really important. Get creative about that. Get creative about how and where you can be listed on the World Wide Web that will show Google you are who you say you are. That's number 4. Number 5 of the 6 things that your website needs to rank on Google is NAP. We've talked about NAP in this group before. NAP stands for name, address, phone number. Name, address, and phone number are very, very, very important if you are a local brick and mortar private practice like most of you are. I know a lot of you right now are moving into teletherapy because of the state of the world. Hopefully you will still get to return to your private practice brick and mortar. And if you're going to do that, name, address, and phone number are absolutely critical for what we call local SEO, which is where Google recognizes where someone is as they search for something and can show you as a result if they are in your area. What's really important about name, address, and phone number is that it is exactly the same everywhere around the internet. So if I am Anna Walker, the therapist, LLC, suite 303 on my website, but I'm only Anna Walker, the therapist, no suite number somewhere else on Facebook or on Yelp or on Google My Business, Google will be smart enough to eventually make those connections, but it's going to be a lot stronger and a lot faster if you go ahead and make sure that these are identical everywhere. So think about all the places, again, just like backlinks, that you're being listed and talked about on the World Wide Web, and make sure that your practice name, your practice address, and your practice phone number are exactly the same everywhere else. This means starting with your website. I love when I see therapists make good use of the footer of their website, but it doesn't happen very often. The footer is that band at the bottom of your website that's shown on every single page of your site. Think about putting your name, address, and phone number there. All of a sudden, that means that it's being listed on every page of your website. Again, Google ranks pages. So if every single page can be reinforced with your name, address, and phone number, again, you're showing Google, I am who I say I am, and this is where I am. This is where you can find me and where you can show me results for. So make sure that that name, address, and phone number is on your website, in your footer, and consistent everywhere else across the World Wide Web. That's number 5. Okay, number 6, the very last thing that your website needs in order to rank on Google, and this is a big one, is good, relevant content. Now that feels a little bit more like, well, that is a little more nebulous, a little more vague, right? But it's so critical. I don't know if you knew this, but the average length of a web page that ranks on the first page of Google is 2,200 words long. 2,200 words long. That's really long. That doesn't mean that every single page of your website needs to be that long. It does mean that you need to make sure that you have a good amount of copy, that you're really saying things that matter and that are relevant to the topic of that page in order for Google to take you seriously. If your homepage right now is just the name of your practice, your logo, a phone number, and maybe your bio of where you went to school, that's not enough in the eyes of Google. Google wants to, again, show quality content to the people that are searching for things. And so you need to make sure that every page of your website is long enough to really address the topic at hand. So again, if you go back to number 2, which is keywords, think about what the keyword is for the page that you're writing for, therapy for anxiety. Make sure that you're writing enough content on that page that you are making your case, right? That you're being enough of a resource that Google will be compelled enough to show you there. If it's just therapy for anxiety, bulleted out a couple things that you do, call me today, that's not going to be enough. That's why in the templates that I have created for private practitioners, there's 6 sections to your specialty page that allow you to write out some of those things that are really going to matter, not just to Google, but also to your client, as they see that you are, in fact, the resource that they're looking for, the expert that they are really wanting to help solve their problems. A great way to do this is to add FAQs to your specialty pages. Add frequently asked questions, the things that people call and ask you about, straight onto your website. This isn't just a good thing for your clients. They would love to see the questions that are in their mind already being answered on your website, but are also very good for Google because, again, it gives you an opportunity to weave in those keywords, to show Google that you know what you're talking about, and to really bolster the content of that page to make sure that Google is going to take that page seriously and show you in search results. That, my friend, is the last of the 6 things your website needs to rank on Google. Let's go over those again. Number 1, have to have. If you're going to start anywhere, please start here. Individual specialty pages on your site dedicated to each of the services or populations that you serve in your practice. Number 2, keywords. Be mindful of the keywords that you're talking about on each of the individual pages of your website and infuse them not just in the content of the page, but in places like alt tags, in places like your URL slug. And if you need help doing those, just drop into Google what you're looking for and you will find step-by-step directions all over the web. Next, meta descriptions and title tags. This is what's going to help someone decide once you do rank on page 1 of Google if they're even going to click in. So make sure that you're giving priority to these and you're being descriptive and compelling in those 2 things so that people are like, oh yeah, okay, great. This gives me enough context. I think she might be the one I'm looking for. They click into your website and they find out that you absolutely are. Number 4, backlinks. Get creative about where you can be listed on the internet that will give you votes of confidence in the eyes of Google. Your Chamber of Commerce, alumni directories, guest blogging, podcasts, whatever that is for you, get creative because this is so important. Number 5, NAP, name, address, and phone number. This needs to be on your website, in your footer, and it needs to be consistent every single place your website is talked about on the internet. Last but not least, number 6, of the 6 things your website needs to rank on Google is good, relevant content. Don't be afraid of writing long pages. People will read long copy, but they won't read boring copy. So you need to be really smart about what it is that you're saying on your page, but do not settle for just having a name and a bio and expecting that to bring in clients or rank on Google. You have to really strike that balance and make sure that you're really addressing the topic at hand in order for Google to take you seriously and your clients. those, my friends, are the 6 things that your website needs to rank on Google. This was like my 6th try with this live. Thank you for sticking with me. If you went ahead and watched, the replay will be available in the group. And I would love to chat more with you about SEO. I'd love to hear about how you're spending this kind of downtime in this COVID season we're in, how you're maximizing it. And if you're struggling right now and things are just really hard and stressful, I want you to know that I see you, that you're lucky, that your clients are lucky to have you, and that I believe in you, and I think that the work you do is really important, and hopefully this training gives you a couple actionable things you can do to just continue to see some traction in your practice and get through the season that we're in. So I appreciate each of you. We'll talk soon.